Hi guys, welcome to what has been way too long postponed for a 24-hour readathon with bestie Carolyn. She's here on the other side of the camera. We're going to be reading for 24 hours again, or over a 24-hour period. I'm going to rip this off soon. I just got some blood work done, but I have very hairy arms, so it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt so bad. So the last one we did was almost 2 years ago. So we have some 24-hour readathoning to do. So Carolyn has already picked her TBR. I have not, because my plan with this 24-hour readathon is to continue a little bit differently what I've started in the move it or lose it, read it or unhaul it videos I've been doing, because I think I'm just going to take my big old TBR jar, which I'll get in a second, and then I'm going to just pull books out of there. But I think I'm only going to read them if they're under 200 pages, because if there's any on my shelves that I don't want, I would like to be able to clear them out as quickly as possible. Does that make sense? I think so.
Hello, everybody. So great to be here.
What are you starting with?
Ooh, I think, so I have two books that are a little bit more lighthearted and then two that are a lot heavier. So I'm thinking of starting with a lighthearted one and then going into a heavier one. So I'm thinking of starting with Tom's Midnight Garden, which is a middle grade book that my book club and I are reading, and then going into The Sorrows of Young Werther by Goethe, which I feel like is going to break me. I do love a good heartbreaking book, so we'll see.
I have the TBR jar. Oh shoot. Okay, I got a yellow slip. These are classics, but it's probably going to be over 200 pages. Okay, it's literally Journey to the West, which is the Chinese epic, so not doing that today. The next one I pulled is, what is the red? I think the pinky red is kind of just general lit fic. Oh no, red is romance. Okay, this is Lord of the Fading Lands. That's a fantasy romance. That's totally 400 pages long. Ooh. Okay, we have a green. Oh, snap. Okay, so this is Tender is the Flesh. That one might actually be under 200 pages. Okay, it's here. That one's about 230 to 40 pages. Pulled another green. This is a 5-star. Oh, De Profundis by Oscar Wilde. Oh, I can't reach it. Is today going to be a day of misery? I have finally De Profundis by Oscar Wilde, and I did just check, and it is 190 pages, so therefore I have to read it. Have you read this?
I haven't. I was enjoying it, but I wasn't in the mood for it.
Okay.
So I put it down, but it was beautiful and heartbreaking.
Yeah, I've heard this is just pure pain. I was hoping for something maybe a bit lighter. Anyway, these are his letters when he is he writing them all from jail, I believe, is what
I believe so.
I know of this. So he writes a long, impassioned letter, just one letter, to his estranged young lover, Lord Alfred Douglas. Carolyn and I are about an hour almost into the readathon. So with De Profundis, I'm almost 82 pages through. Oh, man, this is brutal. I knew this was going to be brutal. I've had this on my shelves for so long. I think I bought this maybe the summer that I started booktube, so it's been a very long time that I've had this and not read this. I've been putting it off because, like I said, I always put off reading short books because I'm just I'll read that in a day or something, so then I never actually read them. But I've also been putting this off because it's just so, is just suffering. It's just pure suffering. I didn't really want to start the readathon this way, to be honest, but here we are. So De Profundis is actually just one long letter written by Oscar Wilde while he is serving his time in prison and doing hard labor at the same time. So he was put in prison he was put in there in 1895, and he was there for 2 years. He was put in prison for gross indecency. Obviously, there's a much bigger story than that. He ends up there because he gets tangled. His life gets like brutally tangled together with this young man from Oxford who is so selfish, so young and silly and capricious, and has so much hate in his heart. So Oscar befriends him. Actually, what happens multiple times throughout their friendship, their relationship, their love affair, is that this young man, Alfred, asks Wilde for help, and Wilde comes to his aid, and basically Alfred just clings on to Oscar for the rest of the years that they know each other, and it's so disheartening. It's Oscar Wilde like footing the bill for every single thing: food, drink, cabs, lodgings, everything that this young guy needs. And Alfred is so luxurious and just has a taste for everything of like higher fine dining, everything like that. And he basically runs Oscar Wilde into the ground. He uses up all of his money. Wilde, like foolishly, and he does admit this, and he himself just bows down to his every whim and basically just pays for everything. So he goes bankrupt. Oscar Wilde is really just being used as a pawn because Alfred hates his father hates Alfred, and there's this huge feud, and Oscar is kind of stuck in the middle of it. It's honestly heartbreaking, guys. And at the end of it all, like, Oscar's name is just dragged through the mud, and because of his relationship and like an underground gambling prostitution thing, I think. I'm not really at that part yet. But because of all this, Oscar gets thrown into prison, and Alfred gets off with nothing and goes about living his life. He says, 1/2 hour with art was always more to me than a cycle with you. So, like, this relationship between them is just so unprofitable, so toxic, so taxing. And, like, Oscar just kind of lays down every single thing that Alfred did to him. Just so upsetting in the end, because Wilde did go bankrupt. Like, his house, his furniture, his belongings, and his entire library was sold off to pay for his debts, and most of his debts were racked up because he was paying for stuff for Alfred and like buying stuff for Alfred. And it's just so heartbreaking. I mean, obviously Wilde is so attached to his library, and that gets sold. All of his personal volumes, like he's writing down volumes that belong to his mother and father, they're gone. His mother dies while he's in jail. Having made your own of my genius, my willpower, and my fortune, you required in the blindness of an inexhaustible greed my entire existence. You took it. At the one supremely and tragically critical moment of all my life, Oscar's lamenting the loss of his library, and Alfred is like, all that stuff is a bore. Like, that's a bore to me. He's just cruel beyond all belief. This line, it makes me feel sometimes as if you yourself had been merely a puppet worked by some secret and unseen hand to bring terrible events to a terrible issue. It makes me feel as if you're a puppet of an unseen hand. Were you sent by someone who wanted me dead? Did you sleep with a gun underneath our bed? Were you writing a book? Were you a sleeper cell spy? And then I just got to a part and I was like, I'm done. I have to update them. This is just unforgivable. This is awful. But throughout it all, Oscar's like, I'm gonna choose to love you anyway and not to hate you, because he says, if I go to prison with hate in my heart, I don't know what is going to become of me. I don't know what's going to become of my soul. Oscar hasn't been in prison for very long, and he gets word that Alfred has a bunch of Oscar's letters that he's just left lying around. He hasn't done anything with them, and he's gonna publish them. He's gonna publish them in a few magazines. It's even more upsetting because his life ended quite soon after he was let out of prison. The 2 years that he served, he never recovered from that stint of hard labor. He caught meningitis, and he died at the age of, is it 46? Either 46 or 49. So it's, yeah. Carolyn's making dinner, so I think I'm going to pick what my second read will be. Also, I just caught myself in the viewfinder, and oh my gosh, I have been feeling really rough, not doing very well. Had my blood taken today, and I'm just not doing very well health-wise. So if I look a little tired, and that's why. Okay, I've got one. Oh, it's another 5-star prediction. So this is Pavane for a Dead Princess. I am pretty sure this one is over 200 pages, like almost 100% sure. Oh, interesting. This is A by J.J. Abrams. That is a big tome. I can see it. It's a big hardback. The Blue Moth Motel. That could be a contender. Let's pick a few just in case. We have, A Day of Fallen Night. LOL. Yeah, right. Oh, Rilke. Gonna pull one more green one just to see. My Neighbor Totoro. Let's find the Blue Moth Motel first. So this one is actually right. Oh god, this shelf is very stuffed. And then the Lay of the Love is right here. So this is another Rilke. I actually have not read this one. That is that one. Totoro is down here on the middle grade shelf. Oh my gosh, can you believe I've had this on my shelf for so long? It's 244 pages, but like, I could probably read it. Okay, so hi. It is 7:46 now. I have finished De Profundis. I'm not okay. I don't know, it's such a strange feeling, but I'm just like, I wish there was something I could do. Very heavy, but there is also so much self-work and I don't know, just going into the self that Wilde does while he is in prison, and he talks so much about the process, so much about his grief and his anger and his madness. Actually, while I was reading it, I was thinking a lot of Rilke. A lot of things he was saying was really reminding me of Rilke, especially his discussion about Christ and the Gospels and stuff like that. And anyway, funny that I did pull a Rilke after that. So I have actually started The Lay of the Love and Death of Cornet Christopher Rilke. It is a poem. It's a very short poem. I'm going to be done it in probably the next 10 minutes, which is sad. In the next 10 minutes, I will have ticked off another Rilke work that I've read for the first time. But yeah, it is a poem about a long deceased member of the Rilke family, like writing about this guy's last moments and his time in the army and stuff like that is what the poem is about. So I am 40 pages in, but it's like half German on one side and then English on the other. So I'll be done very, very soon. And I don't know if I want to pull something from the jar next. I'm kind of in the mood to mood read because I would like something a little bit more uplifting or maybe just a palette cleanser. Also, I do want to say it did make me look at the picture of Dorian Gray and at a lot of the other works from Wilde that I read in a new light, and that was really cool. And if you're interested in Oscar Wilde like talking about his own works, he does talk in various sections, not only about like composing them, but also about the themes that are brought up, particularly in Dorian, which of course is about the corruption of a young man in his relationship with an older man, which is not what happened in Wilde's case. And also that stereotype, he talks about that a lot, of like the crazy old artist like corrupting the youth. So yeah, I just wanted to say that he mentions the picture of Dorian Gray numerous times throughout the letter. She is busily annotating something. She's found something. She's found a treasure.
This is a really nice description. It says, "Farewell, it is a glorious summer. I often sit up in the fruit trees in Lotta's orchard, using a pole to get at the pears on the topmost branches. She stands below and takes them as I pass them down."
Oh.
I thought that was a really sweet moment.
What do you think it is? Oh, it is actually 8 p.m. He's right, guys. He is actually right. It's 8 p.m. Your clock's going off. The alarm clock. Because of her. I'm like really struggling to pick what to read next. I don't know what I'm really in the mood for, so I have picked 3 books that I've taken off my shelf, and Carolyn has gladly agreed to be the executioner on these. I don't know if I'm gonna listen to you.
You better listen to me.
First, we have How High We Go in the Dark.
I don't know what it's about, but I recognize the cover.
Apparently, it's about like this plague or virus that we accidentally unleash when we're like digging in the Arctic. And then it goes like all the way into the future. Like, it's not necessarily a short story collection, but it kind of reads that way. Do you know what I mean? Like, it follows kind of humanity throughout the years. Picked another pretty short one, which is Magnetic North. It's like, it's I don't know how to describe it. I don't know if it's poetry or not yet, but it's about this woman's like sea voyage to Svalbard. I don't know about this one, I don't know. But I picked off Exhalation by Ted Chiang. This one is a short story collection. It's all sci-fi. I don't know why, I'm just kind of in the mood for sci-fi. I can't really decide, honestly.
It sounds very interesting, and it's on the shorter side, and it's an interesting format.
Yeah.
I'm kind of leaning towards that one.
This one?
Yeah.
Magnetic North? Okay. Is this your choice?
I think so.
Okay. I'm gonna give this one a shot. This one was actually recommended to me by one of my professors, so
Oh, cool.
we'll see how this goes.
Yeah, I'm on book 2 now.
Oh.
It's very good.
I think I might make a coffee. Is that a little silly? I think I might do it.
That's not silly at all.
Okay, great.
As heart-wrenching as I was expecting yet, but there is still time. I'm on page 92, and there are, I think, like 130 pages.
I don't know why in my mind I think it's like, oh man, Pushkin, Yevgeny Onegin?
Mm-hmm.
Is it reminding you of that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Like, The Broken Wings and Yevgeny Onegin are similar, I think.
Yeah.
Feelings and tone. Yeah.
I hope you can hear me. It is, I don't even know what time it is. It's actually 9 p.m. now. I can't tell you how shattered I am, like just exhausted. I am so tired. I'm like halfway through my little latte I made. So yeah, I think today just going to get like blood work done and some other tests and all that stuff just really took it out of me. I'm about 20 pages or so into Magnetic North. Impressions, essays, thoughts, poetry, considerations, but she's not there alone. She was actually on a Norwegian ship as like the writer in residence on the ship. Jenna, how do we get jobs like this? Jenna, tell me. Where do I apply? The reason that I picked this one up was because it was recommended to me by my like research paper advisor in undergrad, who supervised like my papers on glaciers and ice fields and hotels. He supervised both of them, and he recommended Magnetic North because he obviously knows my love of the snow and glaciers and all of that, and Svalbard has always been a place I've wanted to visit. I am a huge fan of Cecilia's channel. She has a huge YouTube channel. She's very big on social media. I actually saw like she released a book. I don't know if it's so much a photography book or just telling about her life living in Longyearbyen, which is on Svalbard, but yeah, obsessed with her channel, like love it. I've been watching her for years. She's living my dream life. But he recommended this one specifically because he was like, you know what, it kind of does combine loosely the two things that you're really interested in, hotels and glaciers, because you could kind of argue, and I don't really know so far yet because she hasn't really talked about life on the boat, but he was like, you could kind of argue that her boat and like where she's staying, like in the boat, her cabin or whatever, is kind of like a hotel. It's kind of like a little bit of a hotel vibe or something of the sort. So far this is very much meditating on the nature of like light and dark in Svalbard, because of course in the Arctic Circle, for 4 months, Svalbard is in like complete sunlight. You have the midnight sun, and then you also have the polar darkness, the polar night. This is from Sid Marty. I actually don't know who that is. The wild places that we love to death are cowed by human tumult by day, but return to their true nature after sundown. Darkness has become our last wilderness. Wow. Also, I mean, it's very environmental as well, very ecological. It's talking about the havoc and stuff like the mining towns. However, it's also talking about, and I think I'm just getting into that now, about 20 pages through, it's talking about just like infertility and her traveling to the Arctic in high summer, which is obviously breeding season for so many. And she's talking a lot about the birds and about the laying of eggs and their nests, and also talking about how she can't have children, and so it's kind of that like friction. So far I'm kind of enjoying it. I think honestly the writing is a little bit overcooked for me. It's a little bit overdone, I will say. Sometimes I don't know if anyone else does this, but sometimes when I'm reading books, I will just kind of like pluck out and notice repeated words that a lot of the time I'm like, that didn't need to be repeated, or you could have used that word once, or I'm not sure if the author is aware that they've used this word more than once and you're kind of wearing it a little bit thin. As like an editor, I would have been like, hey, so I can tell you were really like fixated on this word or this idea. Do you want to have it like jump out at your audience, at your reader more than once, multiple times? I'm 20 pages in. I'm gonna keep reading this one. I'm not gonna lie to you, I was really hoping Carolyn, I'm on mute right now, so I'm not gonna say anything. I was really hoping Carolyn was gonna pick How High We Go in the Dark, but this one is also a very quick read, and I am reading this because I was hoping that somewhere in here, or something along the lines, or everything that I've been reading about glaciers and the North, or the South Pole, just anything about snow, glaciers, the ecology of the cold places, the environment, and what we're doing, and yeah, all of that stuff. I was hoping I'd be able to use it somewhere in my master's thesis, so I'm just trying to kind of take in as much of this literature as possible right now to see if there's anything I want to use, if it sparks any ideas in me. So that is the reason mostly why I'm reading Magnetic North. Of course, I'd be interested in it anyway. Carolyn and I got a little restless, a little tired, just needed a break for our brains. So we each went for a little walk. I think Carolyn did a little treadmill walk. I did a little walk outside of the neighborhood. I saw some bats, I saw some bunnies, and I think now we're ready to keep reading. So it is 10:43 p.m. I made it 27 pages through Magnetic North. I didn't get too much further from when I updated you. I was getting a little bit fatigued. She told me before she hung up that she wants to try staying up as late as possible and waking up as early as possible. The amount I'm reading is like getting less and less every hour. I put down Magnetic North, and I did start How High We Go in the Dark by Sukuo Nagamatsu, and I made it 30 pages in, which actually I just finished like the first chapter, I guess, or the first, not short story, but the first piece of it, because then it switches to like new characters, new location. I think it jumps further into the future kind of thing. I don't know, like this is an arc that I got thrifted. To be honest, I didn't know I was getting an ARC when I ordered it, but yeah, so I don't know how much has really changed between the advanced reader edition and the final published edition. It's about a virus that is unearthed when scientists are digging up in Siberia, and they come upon this girl who I think is 30, did they say 30,000 years old? She is carrying this virus, and it's also trapped in the ice and stuff, and this virus gets unleashed on humanity. Expecting the sections to be a bit longer because the first iteration, the first cycle, is about this father who goes up to Siberia to continue the work of his deceased daughter, who is a scientist up there, but she fell into one of the craters and died. So we don't really get, honestly, too much of a chance to get attached to the characters. I think it's going to focus more on the virus now, which obviously I was kind of hoping that we would stay a little bit more in the snow and the north. But the next one opens, it's called City of Laughter, and it's about the sanitation worker in LA, I think, is getting a job at a euthanasia park. So I've seen this idea before somewhere, I don't know, but it's a roller coaster that gradually lulls you into unconsciousness forever. And because of the plague and how deadly it is, I guess we're just learning about it because in the first thing kind of just got unleashed. This is all in the synopsis, by the way. But they've designed this roller coaster for mostly kids. So I think this book is obviously pretty devastating. I don't know if I'm really totally gelling with the writing style or not. And I don't know how good this is actually going to be. Right now it feels like it's so many cool ideas that I'm very interested in, but I don't know how well the execution is in fact gonna go. We'll see how much longer we stay up because I'm really tired.
For some reason, I'm not as heartbroken as I was expecting to be, but I don't know. I'm having very, very conflicting feelings about this reading experience. What?
Exactly.
I don't know. I'm too tired to form words. It's 12:47. We have had enough for today.
I'm clocking out. Okay, I'll see you in the morning. I will wake up. I swear.
Bright and early.
Good night. Good morning. It's now 10:14, so I've been up for a couple of hours. I've been listening to an audiobook, and I also finished a book. Finished Magnetic North. I honestly don't know if I want to get back into How High We Go in the Dark today. Or, you know what, I'm going to ask your opinion. Do you think I'm going to like How High We Go in the Dark? I was reading reviews about how great the writing was, and I was just like, where? I did finish Magnetic North. I decided to switch back to this guy this morning because this felt more like a morning read to me, and honestly, I was hoping to enjoy this more than I did. Don't get me wrong, topic matter, subject matter, things that she talks about, 100% there. That is obviously 100% an area of special interest for me, and so cool. I love learning more about Svalbard. It was honestly just her writing style that was not for me. I think I was talking last night about how it just maybe felt a little overdone. It was just trying to be maybe a little bit too wordy, a little bit too stylish, if that makes any kind of sense, and it felt like it was kind of losing the message and the heart of what it was trying to talk about because of the writing style. Repeated descriptors mostly that I was talking about, because obviously when you repeat something in a text, a lot of the time it calls emphasis to something. It makes you pay closer attention to it. It can be talking about repetition in general when you repeat certain words, but when you're like repeating or like describing things in the exact same way over and over again, I think that's a little bit less of like a good like symbolic choice, and it just felt a little bit tired in that case, I think. So that's kind of like why I didn't like it as much, was the writing style. And honestly, this book is a lot more about like the history of Svalbard. It's a lot more about polar exploration, polar expeditions. It's about mining towns. It's definitely about the havoc that we're wreaking and have wrecked. I really did like a lot of this, and also comparing like Svalbard to Alberta, where the author is from, where she lives. She's actually like, I don't know if she still does. I don't know too much about Jenna Butler, honestly. I know she's a professor, an essayist, and a poet, but she's also a farmer, and I think she lives off-grid in Alberta, which is really cool. So then like talking about mining in Svalbard, talking about the oil sands in Alberta was just really, really interesting. And actually, there were literal hotels in this book, so wouldn't even have to stretch it to say like, oh, her boat's the hotel. No, like there were hotels up on different islands where people are staying because tourists are slowly trickling in. This was probably my favorite part, where she's talking about the glaciers. One of the reasons why I just love them so much, love exploring them so much, because they contain so much information. Sometimes obviously via pollution, via natural disasters, contain sediment and ash and smoke, and that's why a lot of times glaciers have lines in the ice, because it's a layer of our time, of our history, like a physical soot, physical dirt of what the hell was happening. So she says, the old ice on these mountains carries centuries, the guides tell us. When the others tire and go below deck, I linger at the railing, imagining Mount St. Helens, Bikini Atoll, and Nagasaki, the gunmetal glide of uranium from Canada's north. What we are capable of when we hollow the earth, small gods with hammers and tongs, refineries and their atmospheric smear. In our hands, Vulcan's desire to fashion in his own image. Somewhere in this ice, Dachau plumes dark against the blue. London burns from a shop on Pudding Lane. I picture the ice sharding, and Vesuvius issuing forth in a charred waft, the withering harmattan over the water from Marrakesh. Probably will revisit this, definitely going back on my shelf. Like, I'm not unhauling anything I've read, but that is book number 3 so far in this readathon. I'm still not over De Profundis, and at this point, having read De Profundis, The Lay of the Love, and Magnetic North, I would really like something fiction for sure, although there is a book that Carolyn wants me to read that I'm gonna grab and just check out, which unfortunately is another nonfiction, because I'm a little bit nonfiction poetried lettered out. I would like some hard fiction back in my life at this point. I'm also feeling really ill as well, so that's not great. And yeah, but I'm gonna try to pick something else, explore the shelves, and I think I would also like to have some breakfast. Calcifer, who is that? He's like frozen.
Look, Willow. Where are you going? Crazy girl. She's like, give me a treat, please.
Oh. It is now, I don't even know what time it is. It's 12:10, and that means we have a little over 3 hours left of the readathon. So I'm sorry if you can hear my AC going. It is like so hot out today. It's so humid. I did end up pulling 2 books off of the shelves, and I've actually started both of them. Having just so much better of a time because these are like very happy, kind of like uplifting, fun books. So the one that Carolyn wanted me to read, she loves this book so much, is 84 Charing Cross Road. So this is actually another collection of letters, this time between this woman named Helene Hampf and different people who work at the bookstore at 84 Charing Cross Road in London. And it's really sweet. It's really, really sweet. So she is an American writer, among other things. She is contacting the bookstore, like she's sending letters. It's 1950. It takes place across a period of, I think, 20 years, and she is asking them for certain books that she can't get in the States and just other things, and she develops like a very close connection with a lot of the people at the bookstore. 16 pages through, I was like, do I really want to read this right now? Like, I just read a very long letter of Oscar Wilde's at the start and other nonfiction, but it's really, really charming. And then I pulled another book that was just like screaming comfort to me. I've been putting this book off for like 2 years now. Yeah, exactly 2 years, because I bought this book in June 2023 in Nova Scotia when I went to visit and stuff, and that is The Grace of Wild Things by Heather Fawcett. Heather Fawcett is, oh, there's a bird. This one is actually inspired by Anne of Green Gables. It's set on Prince Edward Island, and you follow this young girl named Grace who has magic powers. She finds out that she's a witch. I'm just gonna keep reading The Grace of Wild Things because it's just making me so happy, and this is exactly the feelings that I wanted from this readathon. So Carolyn is currently updating her vlog, but she just finished reading a little Tolstoy story, and yeah, it's going well. It's going well.
We did it. We did it. We conquered the 24 hours of reading. We're both very tired. Right, this has been so fun.
I know, it's been so long.
Ciao.
Ciao. The readathon is over, like you saw, but I did want to just give you like my final update because I realized there's just like some books that I didn't really get to talk about that much, and also just give you my total reading summary for the day. I read 4.5 books in total, plus some other bits and bobs. I obviously read all of De Profundis by Oscar Wilde. I don't know if this was my favorite thing I read throughout the day. I don't know if it's my favorite. Definitely the most heartbreaking, the most difficult to get through. Oh my gosh, there is a little bird. Like, wow, so beautiful. I am really glad and happy that I read this, and we'll definitely be returning to this because there's so much in here. It speaks such volumes, I think, about so many different things, especially about just suffering in general. So that is De Profundis. I think this was, no. I still have The Happy Prince by Oscar Wilde on my shelf, so that's the last thing I think I have from him, plus like the uncensored Dorian Gray. So yeah, finished all of this. This was 190 pages, and then this was the one like I didn't even speak about. What the heck? It's The Lay of the Love and Death of Cornet Christopher Rilke. This, I just think because it was so short, like it was really, really short, I didn't have too much to say. It wasn't a new favorite Rilke. He's my favorite poet if you're new here. I haven't read a work of his in a long time, and so this was one that I had not the chance to get to, but it was just he's so good at like such symbolic, vivid, like dreamlike imagery. It's the kind that will stick with you like long after you're done reading it, and I'm still thinking so vividly about so many scenes. It feels like a dream. It's very cool. And yeah, it's about this soldier's initiation into life and death. Riding through the day, through the night, through the day. Riding, and courage is grown so weary and longing so great. So that's that one. This was, I think, 70 pages. Yeah, this was 69 pages. And then I also finished all of Magnetic North by Jenna Butler. I do feel like this was kind of my favorite thing I read.
throughout the readathon, just because like this is the stuff that I'm so incredibly interested in, so I'm always gonna be happy reading it. Yeah, I think overall I gave this one like 4 stars, and this was 101 pages. I do highly recommend, especially if you're interested in these topic matters. And then I finished all of 84 Charing Cross Road by Helene Hanff. This was just like also devastating. Carolyn loves this book to death. Thank you so much to you for like making me read this, but like she was like, oh, you're gonna love it, it's so fun, it's so upbeat or whatever, it's so charming. And it is totally all those things, and it is also like equally devastating. Like I think I just felt like punched in the soul when I had finished this, because yeah, it's about this 20-year relationship between this American woman and these English booksellers, and it's just incredibly heartwarming. It makes me so sad that like mail isn't really, or like post and letter writing isn't, what is the word, prolific anymore. And it was just so incredibly charming, so charming. And like she is like the quintessential book lover, so there's just so many references, so many things that I really appreciate as like a vivid and avid reader. And this was 97 pages long. I read over halfway through The Grace of Wild Things by Heather Fawcett. I've since finished this book after the readathon, and I did really like this. I gave this 4 stars as well. Just like a very good reading day, honestly. I think I made it 236 pages through here, if I'm not mistaken, during the readathon. But yeah, if you want like a nice whimsical, magical middle grade, if you want an Anne of Green Gables retelling, very heavy on the Anne of Green Gables content, like extremely heavy, this is the one for you. This is the one. And I really love this cover. Finally, the book that I DNF'd during the readathon was How High We Go in the Dark by Suko Nagamatsu. In the end, I made it 50 pages through, so I got almost through the story about the amusement park. And I don't know. I think I'm gonna give this a shot when I'm not feeling like so ill myself and anxious, and I'm gonna pick this back up. But yeah, do let me know what your thoughts are. I'm very interested. I don't know if this is like as well executed as I want it to be though. I think a very successful reading day, if I did the math correctly. I think I read 744 pages throughout the 24 hours, which is great. Everything was such a good time. Thank you to Carolyn. If you're watching, I think you're watching this. Hi, love you so much. Thank you for reading with me. It's just so nice to relax and read with someone you love. So that is everything I read. I honestly recommend like all of these. I'm so glad that I like got to tick these off of my shelf. We got to read 2 of the picks from the TBR jar. So those are done. Anyway, I want to say thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for hanging out. It's been a long time since I've done a 24-hour readathon. Let me know if you'd like to see these like regularly back on my channel, like even just once a month or something like that. Until my next video, that is when I will see you. So thank you guys so much for being here. Ciao.